Government decided to reorganise London local authorities. The borough of Bermondsey was swallowed up by a neighbour in 1965.
Southwark took over then, and Ted Heath merged us with Southwark, and our housing list went up from 70 to, as I said, 70,000, you know, which was, by any measure, a disaster. You know, we'd lost our, well, insularity, if you like.
In 1980, public housing policy changed forever. A radical Conservative government decided that every council tenant should be given the right to own their own house. Legislation was introduced, giving people the right to buy from the local authority and at a knockdown price. The Belgravia of Bermondsey looked like a good investment.
I bought this one.
Do you mind me asking how much you paid for it?
Do you want me to know, or would you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
In confidence.
Okay.
You could scrub it. Some people like to go into a house and as it is, they want to put their own mark on it. Do it as they want. So I'll just leave it as it is. I'm happy here.
And we put in the registered right to buy thing. I think it was 14,600 or something like that. I can see social objections and the reasons for them, you know, because council housing is moving into private ownership. Soon there'll be no council houses. I could understand that, but then you're an individual living in a society where you've got to look after yourself. Nobody else will, so we looked after ourselves by buying it, you know.
My sister, who lives down here, across the road, she bought hers, and it was such a low price that, but I was on carers' money, which was about £55, £60 a week, and looking after my son and my mum and dad. And I couldn't afford it, and they never had a lot of money. No, we wasn't rich enough. It was just a shame.
House prices have continued to rise, and so the character of Reverdy Road has changed. Only 40% of the houses are still owned by the council.
Reverdy Road there, and here's Southwark Park Road, up here.
Younger people are moving in. Professional people attracted by the proximity to central London and the city. People like Stacey Cox.
When I pulled up with the moving van on day one, the neighbours across the street came across to welcome me to the neighbourhood. And as soon as they heard the accent, they said, "Why did you move here?" But also, I thought this area was supposed to be an up-and-coming neighbourhood. They were redeveloping Bermondsey Street, Bermondsey Square. And of course, it's close to central London. I mean, we're just on the edge border of Zone 1, Zone 2, so it's easy for me to get into work.
Across the road from Stacey's one-bedroom flat is number 62 Reverdy Road. The tenant recently died, and the council have put the house up for auction. Stacey wants to upgrade.
I mean, this is a really large bathroom, actually, set up like this. This paper reminds me of the paper in my flat across the street when I bought it. Nice and dark, as you can see, the curtains don't match at all. It just really makes this room feel almost like a cave. We want it as a family home, and our objective is to go and bid on Monday. And there's old pieces of paper under here. Oh, I can find all kinds of good things under these floorboards. And something about the BBC. It is saying, if this is entertainment on a grand scale, then the BBC might as well pack in. Hey. So basically, after I buy this property, I'm gonna have to do a full search to see what I want to save before the builders come in, because it'll all then go in the skip, won't it?
I feel quite sad sometimes when I see some of the elderly people who I know around here, because once they go, you know that those houses, because they're not owned by the council now, they saved up and bought their houses, and you know, they've cherished them. They'll go to the estate agents, and that's when things are really going to change.
It's down to whether you can afford it, isn't it, now? I think the property for sale in these areas is way beyond. I mean, my children could have no, and we're talking about 10 years ago, my children could not buy anywhere in Bermondsey. They had, most of my friends and families of children have all had to move out of Bermondsey. You know, forced out. That makes me very sad, yeah.
The West family sold the estate in 1960. Emma brought her son, the 9th James West, to see what the family once owned and to meet some of their former tenants.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you? Hello, I'm Emma.
Thank you, yeah.
And this is James.
Hello, James.
And they bought you some cakes. My girls have made some cakes. Hello, Tracy.
Hello.
Hi, Emma. Good to meet you. Emma Holman West, nice to meet you. You're right.
Meet you.
And this
Come
is
in.
James. Thank you.
Put this thing down.
Wow, this looks incredible. You've got lots to tell me. I'm fascinated.
It's always been a business premises.
Please tell me about that.
Way back, it was the moneylenders. I do know that because the little window in the front there, in the front gateway, they used to lend the money out through the window.
Okay, it's pretty amazing. So was this been the original loo? Sorry, I'm interested. No, but the reason I'm interested in it, I'm not going to look in, don't panic, is because one of the main reasons our family sold up was because all the bathrooms were outside and we couldn't afford to put them all inside. Really? And it was, yeah, in the 60s. So what else is this house, what else is in its history?
During the war, the 1939 war, right, he had the haulage contract business.
Okay.
And he used to have horses, big dray horses out there in the yard. Oh, they were lovely.
Where did you keep the horses, Elsie?
Where did you keep them? In the backyard there.
It's got a story to tell, isn't it? It's fantastic what you've done. I mean, it's just not like living in London in any of these houses, is it? It's got a wonderful aura about it.
Well, totally. It's so, again, it's so very quiet.
Exactly what I've been saying all day. I just don't believe it. It is huge. James can touch him. I'm not very good at stuff like that. What kind of lizard is it?
Bearded dragon.
Oh, I'll be daring. Okay.
How do you feel about coming back to your family history then? So.
I'm totally overwhelmed, if you want me to be honest. It's fantastic. I love where you live.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah. I know it's a really cliche thing to say. I feel like I'm coming home. It's left a lasting impression that will never be forgotten. And I think I was saying to Mark earlier, it makes me want to sell up our flat where we live in London at the minute, because my husband works in the city, and actually buy a house down here and come back.
Seriously?
Yeah, I really mean that.
You'd seriously buy a house in Reverdy Road?
Yeah, I would, in this area, come back to the West Estate. I feel really strongly about it. It's kind of twitched something in me.
Lot 12 is 62 Reverdy Road in Southwark, SE1, freehold 2-floor end of terrace house, selling this bold in London Borough of Southwark. So where should we start the bidding?
Reverdy Road and the surrounding streets are now highly desirable, and the cash-strapped council are selling them off as soon as they become vacant. Stacey wants to buy number 62 and raise a family there, but she's competing against a room full of property developers.
At £319,000 then selling for the first time. £319,000 for the second time. Third, last time, sold £319,000.
Stacey didn't have the financial muscle and lost the house to a property investor, somebody who sees a quick profit in a Victorian house rather than a permanent part of the community. Number 62 Reverdy Road was home to 3 families in 1891. By 1911, it was home to one family, headed by police officer James Lauder. Now it's been bought from the council by a property developer. After renovation, it will sell for close to £500,000. one house costing more than all 797 houses together when the council bought them in 1960.
In my younger days, these properties were not wanted at all. Everybody wanted to get out of the old houses and get into the new places. And now it's completely circled again. If you were to offer anybody a flat or one of these houses, I would have said 99.9 would jump at one of these houses.
Bermondsey is quite chic now, and all is changing on Reverdy Road. Prices have gone up, and people with money and interior design plans are moving in. Gentrification has finally arrived. If Booth came to Reverdy Road today, he might upgrade it from pink, perhaps to red or even yellow. And if he took a stroll by the river, which used to be blue and black, meaning poor and semi-criminal, he'd certainly upgrade it. Today, this is an area of swanky apartments and business developments. Even so, not all the criminals have left.
This was the statue of Dr. Salter, and you can see where it was fixed to the seat. And recently, some thieves came and stole it. Local people have got together to form some association to either try to recover the statue, which I think highly unlikely, or get a new one commissioned.
Alfred has no doubt been melted down, but at least his daughter and cat were spared and have been taken into protective custody. The surgery on Reverdy Road closed in 1994, and Max Gammon is the last in a long line of doctors who have lived here and served the people of Bermondsey.
I do believe it is the end of an era. I'm the last of a line, really. And so I'm very satisfied that I'm very privileged to have been the last doctor to live in this house.
They're all nice people. They really are. Yeah. No, if I chose to live anywhere, it'd be down this street. Yeah.
Next week, we go to Arnold Circus.
It was like walking into, I don't know, somewhere so different.
A Victorian model village in the heart of the East End.
And you would get 6 of the best if you misbehaved. It hurt. It left marks on your buttocks, because most of us never wore underpants.
A haven in the heart of the city.
Home, sweet home. Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad.
To discover more about Britain's secret streets, the Open University has produced a free guidebook. Go to bbc.co.uk/ourstreets and follow the links to the Open University, or call 0845 366 0251.